I'm alive, just kind of blah. um, I had my two teeth taken out, and the one that had that infection could have become an abscess, so they got it just in time. Awesome. In about 4 months, I'm going to find out if I'm a candidate to get implants. That's going to cost a lot of money though. It's like 2,500 per implant, and that's not including like the top tooth part, the like attached thing or whatever. That I don't know. I'm not an expert. The way they explained it to me, it just there are two parts. So I get to find out if I'm a candidate for though. Um, it's not for cosmetic reasons, more because I want to have like a balance of, teeth in my mouth. But they also had to figure out if I have enough like actual jawbone to support it, which I might not. Even if you can't see it on the screen, I'm very small. I'm a very small person. So, we'll see. The biggest part that's upsetting right now is as it heals, there's still that gap because they took out teeth, and if you didn't know, a tooth has like roots and they can be long. um and this side had a baby tooth, so it wasn't as bad. Though they had to leave part of like they had to detach and leave part of a tooth that was kind of starting to fuse with another tooth, and I don't know why, but it was like my nerves were all messed up. Like I was super painful on this side. Um and of course, like what happened with my my wisdom teeth being taken out in boot camp, um the numbing wore off. So they had to go back in and put more numbing, and so they had to stop in the middle of the operation to, and I decided to do like local aesthetic, like not be put under, because I didn't have anyone to drive me home. Like it was just me. So I kind of had to stay awake, numbed up, but awake, and a little bit of pain, but awake. So it's like, okay, I can deal with that. I've had to deal with that before. Um, the biggest thing that's irritating is that kind of gapping hole that things could get stuck in. Um, I also really hated the first few days, well, not first few days, technically the first week or so, of having to eat nearly cold or very cold food because I had stitches and I couldn't risk them coming out too early, so I couldn't have too warm or hot anything. I don't think, unless you've gone through it yourself, you wouldn't understand. But when you have sensory stuff going on and certain things just do not taste well, it's just, I'll tell you, I hate cold soup. Hate cold soup so much. I love soup. I love making soup. All different kinds of soup. I like making stews. I like creating soups. Like, I don't know, it's just the idea of mixing things in like a pot. It's awesome. But I hate cold soup. Just so I could take my antibiotics, I had to like pretty much swallow like chicken noodle soup, like condensed chicken noodle soup. And it was so disgusting. And then there was I got some mashed potatoes, like a thing of mashed potatoes, and I did heat it up to add some seasoning and some like cheese to kind of like melted cheese, because I don't like mashed potatoes by themselves. Like, who does? That's blasphemy. Anyway, but once it cooled off enough that I could eat it, but I don't know, it just, cold mashed potatoes are like slimy and gross to me, so it was so awful. Um but it's just that little like bit of a hole like gap. So the stitches, of course, have been out for a while. They came out within a week, which it could be like 1 to 2 weeks. It's been healing up nicely, but it's just because there's a bit of a gap. So the surgeon gave me like a little syringe thing so that I can like, blast water in there to like, get stuff out if it gets stuck while I'm eating. It was the weirdest sensation. It is the weirdest. It's so okay. Anyway. I figured I'd do a video to let you know I'm alive. If I seem a bit blah or puffy, it's because I had to mow the lawns today. Well, technically trim the back because the ground is uneven, so I can't really mow that lawn. So I use the trimmer in the back, which sucks because there's a lot of ground to cover. But the front lawn, I mowed that, but it just cut grass and pollen and stuff like that. It gets to me. It gets to me so much. I do not like it. So my hair is all kind of wonky because I took a shower earlier and it's been drying naturally throughout the day and I just haven't done anything with it. I'm not going to lie. I have not really thought about doing a curly hair routine. But I want to try it because this is like me not brushing my hair. It's even curlier than this when I come out of the shower. Like it kind of loop-de-loos a bit. Like this is like more like wavy kind of curl, but like right now, but it can get really curly when it's really wet or really humid. So, but I've been treating my hair like just thick wavy hair. I haven't been treating it like there's any sort of curls, but you know what? I I should try that. I should try that. I think it would be interesting to see the results. Because the only time I've ever had curly hair that stayed any sort of length of time is when I got it permed a couple times when I was in community college. And that didn't last long. Nothing ever lasts long. Like like the numbing thing, like medicine doesn't last long. The effects, I don't feel the effects of things after a certain period of time. My hair cannot hold, like I've tried curling it for like prom and stuff like that, as a kid, as a teen, and it's just within the hour, heavy. My hair was like thick enough to where it just would not hold the curls. Like all that money wasted. Like my dad would try to go and get my hair curled for something and just it wouldn't stay. It just wouldn't. It didn't matter what product they used. And trust me, they used a lot of product. It was so awful. Like my head hurt with how much product they used. And it still would not keep the curl. It's like I was joking with some coworkers about how things like just never stay like they're supposed to with me. I'm like, yeah, it's like a mutant superpower, but it's like the power I don't want. Like if I'm going to have a mutant superpower, I want a different one. Okay. Why does it have to be this one? Anyway, a lot has been going on. I'm not going to talk about all of it. Just know that it's been a really rough couple of weeks. There's been some family issues. There's been some mental health crisis. There's been a lot. I am thankful that even though we are where we are and I don't have any like immediate, like very close support that I can rely on like 24/7. I do have a support network where I'm at. I do have support of friends and family elsewhere. So reaching out to a lot of folks. I've been trying to get through more financial crisis, more financial issues, which crops up a lot when you're a single parent. It sucks because although I'm grateful that I started getting a higher paycheck from all the hard work of going from contractor to permanent employee for the state and then like getting a raise last year and like, which I didn't know I was getting because they literally sent the email after it went into effect and I didn't even know it went into effect because I didn't get the email about that until after. But that means that I don't qualify for a bunch of other resources that could help me. And it's like, yes, I'm making a lot more money, but I have a lot of debt. Like I have the car, I've got the HVAC and AC, like that was almost $10,000 I didn't have at the time a couple years back. And there was a scare of hospital bills from last year. So thankfully I got most of those cleared. It's just, and then of course there's the mortgage and it's just, there's a lot of stuff and it's just all at once. So I'm trying to pay off stuff. I'm trying to, maneuver as best I can. It's just, sometimes it gets overwhelming. So that's been the last couple of weeks. I have been trying to hard charge and catch up on all the Star Wars series as much as possible, because, and I'm not kidding, I cannot just jump around on episodes. So when they're saying like, oh, Ahsoka, like the series is going to drop, so here are the episodes you can watch from all these different series. And I was like, I can't just jump around. I have to watch the entire series. I have to know everything that's going on, because it's not just Ahsoka that I'm interested in, even though I really, really want to watch that series because I do love the character. But I love all of Star Wars, so I need to watch the whole series because I need to know what's going on in the entire Star Wars universe. I cannot just jump around. And there may be some key details that, even though they're like talking about when Ahsoka, pops up in those other episodes, I'm just like, it's not just about Ahsoka. There's so many other hidden Easter eggs. And I finally caught up with all of Clone Wars. Now, I haven't watched the movie one. That I still have to. I'm just trying to finish the series. So I finished that. I finished all of Bad Batch up to the most recent, which I think there was rumors that there was going to be another season, which I really hope so, because oh my gosh, I need to know what happens to Omega. Oh my gosh. I freaked out. If you don't know, well, I'm sorry, there's a spoiler. There's a character named Omega and something happens, and I need to know what happens to her because it's so much. But then I immediately started Star Wars Rebels, so I'm into season 2 of that right now. And I was like at season 4 of Clone Wars, so I went through from season 4 to season 7. And then I did all two seasons of Bad Batch, because they're up to 2 seasons. And now I'm into second season of Star Wars Rebels, in which there are 4 seasons, I believe, or 4 seasons. So I've been like really working, and this is from since before I had the dental procedure a couple weeks back, almost 3 weeks ago, or has it been 3 weeks? I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Like this weekend has been filled with dishes and laundry and lawn mowing and going over homework and things with the kids, and which of course Connor is reluctant to because he's 5 and he doesn't believe he should have homework because he's in kindergarten. But I call it homework even though it's just practicing writing, practicing like vowels and sounds and phonetics and stuff, because I wanted to get him prepared for reading in the way that I wasn't able to with Alan. So it's been a long weekend, but I've been trying to like push through and watch as much as possible on all Star Wars to catch up as much as possible. So I haven't watched Ahsoka yet. I really want to, but I want to watch all these other series. Like I cannot just jump around. There's just no. I can't be. It's the same as like handing someone like volume 4 out of like a 10-book series and being like, oh yeah, this is a great series, but you start them on book 4 instead of book 1. Which happened to me with the Dresden Files, because in high school, someone's like, oh yeah, here's a book. Like they were reading like one of the Dresden Files books and by Jim Butcher, and like I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And they just handed me one of the copies of a book, but they didn't tell me which one it was in the series. They just handed me a book and I read it. I was like, this was great, but I have so many questions. It's like, oh yeah, because that's like book 4 or something. I was like, why did you just hand me book? I mean, I should have asked which one it was in series, but I thought it was a one-off because that person didn't explain that this is a series, not this is a cool book by a cool author. I think you'll like it. Like that. He was so vague about it. So I felt kind of like annoyed. So I went back to, I went to the library and I got like the first couple books and then I started buying them, and yeah, there we go. But it's like handing someone like number whatever book of a series and not explaining anything and be like, yes, it's great on its own. It looks awesome, but I have so many questions. That's how I would feel if I were to watch Ahsoka right now and not have watched those other series. Again, I cannot just jump around. I have to know all the stuff. And considering that, like, I grew up with the original 4, 5, 6, and then when I was 13, like, episode 1 came out, and I was, like, super excited. And so from there, Yeah, like it's like I've been watching and trying to consume as much Star Wars since I was a kid. So I mean, and Return of the Jedi is still my favorite. I don't think anything is ever going to top that. It's still going to be my ultimate favorite. And yeah, because that was my favorite as a baby. Like that's the one that my dad rewatched. Like we wore out, I think one or two, at least two VHSs. We wore out at least two VHSs, um, copies of Return of the Jedi, because that's how much I was watching it. I mean, like we went through like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast as well, because because those were also two of my favorites growing up. If you don't know what a VHS is, you're too young. I'm just gonna say it. Um, but yeah, so that has been what has been consuming me for the past like few weeks, other than like healing from this and whatever other troubles are going on. I've just been hard charging with trying to catch up with all these animated series. um I did throw in, I think, one, two, yeah, at least two K dramas in there as well. I did like Love to Hate You, which I liked, I enjoyed. Um, Very empowering for women, honestly. And then King the Land, which was also really awesome. And I'm will probably do another video to really gush about King the Land. But I have to say, it is like perfection. It is like perfection when it comes to like the male lead not being toxic. Like there's nothing toxic about this guy. Like this is what a perfect relationship is. With like seriously, the way that he treats her, the way that he treats others, the way that he, you know, oh my gosh. It was amazing. I was like, this is a breath of fresh air. Like this is exactly what you would want in a relationship with someone. Like, oh my gosh. Like there was a rough start between him and the leading lady, but he as himself is not a bad person. There was like just it was of course the they had a rough start to their relationship sort of thing, the way that they met each other, and there was a misunderstanding, of course. But just the way how this guy is as a person and the way that he treats her, he like treats her like she's a queen, and he treats her like an equal as well. It's just is phenomenal. Like I just that is like relationship goals to the max. Like oh my gosh, it was so amazing. um so I will probably do a video and like actually go in depth on that series, because there was a lot of amazing stuff. King of the Land is basically like this guy is competing with his much older half sister to become the heir to basically a hotel, like this like very very prestigious hotel. um and it's basically their father like owns pretty much like airline, hotel, and a bunch of other like companies. Like he's like super rich, and like he falls like the main guy, the main character falls in love with someone who works at the hotel. Like she worked very hard to get to the position that she's at the hotel. um because she's always wanted to work at the hotel. She's always wanted to be in that kind of position to help others, to be accommodating. It's just that was her dream job. So of course they have to go through a lot to get where they're at one day, but it was like perfection. Just it's like this is what you look for in a partner, like the way that they treat each other, the way that they treat others, the way that they just work together. And if there's misunderstandings, then they work through it together. There's communication. There's a lot of love. There is a lot of trust. There is just, it was just like, this is like the epitome of what a romantic relationship should be. Like, I am totally fine single right now, but I still love consuming like romantic media in book or, show form. But that was mwah, chef's kiss. It was amazing. So that is, I worked in 2 K-dramas last few weeks amongst all the Star Wars. I think it's because I needed to take a break, because I was just nothing but Star Wars is what I was watching. To the point where my kids are like, "Are you watching anything else? Is it just Star Wars?" I'm just like, just like I have to catch up. I'm far behind, and they're just like, "I thought you watched all this stuff before." I was like, "Yeah, because life happened, so I didn't, but now I am." All right. Anyway, I've gushed about King of the Land, which I don't know. Should I even do a video now? Maybe I shouldn't because I already gushed about it. But it was just so awesome. So awesome. Love to Hate You was really good too. Maybe I should do a combo video of those. I don't know. Either way, this is to let you know that I'm doing okay and to just talk about stuff. Oh, I guess some good news. So Alan recently got into running. So Alan is my 9-year-old, if you don't know. And he just, I mean, I've always wanted to get them into sports. I've always wanted to get them into, well, some sort of activity. Unfortunately, with money tight the way it is, can't really afford gear for anything. But running is free. So cross country is what he signed up for. And there was only like 20 spots, and I was worried. I was like, oh no, like I hope he's going to make it or whatever, because a bunch of other kids showed interest. But like half the kids that like said they wanted to do it, like signed up, like half of them didn't even put in their forms, the needed forms to actually participate. So like I did the whole like got the sports physical with his doctor, filled out all these other forms and permission slips and whatever. So he made the team, and he's had 3 practices so far, and he really loves it. And he said that the teacher thought he did really well. Like he just loves running so much. Like he doesn't get winded. He doesn't get like it exhilarates him. Like he's already like hyperactive. He's already all over the place with his ADHD. But this is like a way to focus it. It's like he feels more energized and more focused when he runs. And even though there's no running allowed in the house, whenever we're doing like homework and stuff, he'll bounce around or he'll move while I'm like quizzing him on something, which is fine. Like movement helps him think. So yeah, there we go. But being able to run and doing it with other people, like that's something that he's been really excited about it. So I'm happy to report that we were able to find something for Alan. Connor, I don't know what he'll get into. He's really big on wrestling Big Brother. And even though Alan is 4 years older and much taller, like Alan's like tall, skinny, Connor is like short, stout. Like he's not really short. He's pretty tall actually. I mean, he's catching up to Big Brother. So even though he's only 5, he's already like pretty tall. But he's got like the way he's built is like he's like this bruiser, man. He'll like take you down. So it made me wonder, like, will he be into like wrestling or football or something like that one day? Maybe. I mean, if I'm able to afford it, I'm totally fine with them trying out with stuff. I did ask Alan if he wanted to try out for choir because he does like to sing, and he said, I said, yeah, but also when they go to practice, it's at the same time as some of your practice for running. He's like, nope, then I don't want to do choir. I don't care how much I love to sing. Running is where it's at. I was like, you just don't want to stand still and sing, do you? He's like, no, if I can't run around and sing, then there's no point. I was like, okay. Like I can see him being into theater one day. I can see Alan doing that because he likes to, he's very energetic. He likes to move around a lot. So I can see him being very interactive, like, theater, or musicals or something like that. I can see him doing something like that because he's got that energy. He thrives on it. But I just like how he's just like totally no choir, because that would interfere with my running, and running means I don't have to sit still. So I was like, good logic, buddy. Good logic. Yeah. So that's pretty much what's been going on. I don't know when my next video will be. I I know I don't look it now, but I know that when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to be super puffy and stuffy, and I'm just not going to like life. So I'm probably going to take another couple days to like get through that. It always hits me like the day after I do like some sort of trimming or lawn mowing or something like that. It always hits me like the day after. And I'm like, I get puffy and I get red and just, it's gross. So, but other than that, I don't really have any other updates. This is long enough. I really want to get back to, to Star Wars Rebels. I'm not going to lie, even though I probably should be sleeping. I really want to finish it because, oh my gosh, so far I guess with me doing it in order, Star Wars, Clone Wars, and then Bad Batch, and then Star Wars Rebels, I'm like geeking out with all the cameos by people, and really, and because I know where some of the stuff is headed, because I've watched like Andor and Rogue One and Solo and Mandalorian, and like I've watched like all those other series as come out. And of course like all the, the prequels and the originals and the sequels. I've watched all those movies. So I know where a lot of stuff is headed. I read quite a few of like the comics and the books that they considered canon, like that, George Lucas was okay with. So it's like I know where it's headed. I know where the story is headed. Watching Rebels, but and watching Bad Batch and stuff like that. But still, it's so awesome to see behind the scenes. So I kind of want to dive into that. I'm like really getting into it. A lot of people have been saying though that they're a little not as happy with Ahsoka. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think I will enjoy it anyway. I was the kind of person that if people complained about the prequels, I would be like, yeah, haha. But I actually really enjoyed them. I'm not going to lie. I actually really enjoyed them. I loved all the characters. And I just, maybe I don't like the hate. Maybe it's because I'm one of those people that can just enjoy stuff for what it is. But I didn't really hate the prequels as much as a lot of other people. I actually really enjoyed them. I got emotionally invested in them. I do make fun of the Vader Wail though in episode 3. I do make fun of it. And Connor and Alan will do the Vader Wail if they're trying to be dramatic. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I have to make fun of that though. Just because it was such a long, prolonged no. Okay? Because it lasted more than like 3 seconds, all right? So I have to make fun of that. I have to. I mean, and of course I also watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but the most recent one. I'm like trying to list off all the like Star Wars series that I've seen. I've seen like practically all of them. But yeah, no, I think that's the one thing that I'll make fun of. And that's probably because it's so dramatic, and it's just, I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. I mean, when I saw it, like theaters, like when I saw it, I was just like, ugh, like I'm already emotional right now because of everything. I don't like this. But then when I rewatched it, I kind of chuckled a little bit. I was just like, yeah, this is lasting like a much longer period of time than I thought it would. So that's like the thing that I make fun of. If I want to be like dramatic, I'll be like Vader Wail, and my kids do the same thing when they're trying to be silly and goofy. But that's it. I do think that there could have been some better writing in certain aspects in areas where it's like the way that they said that, I don't know. But that's just the writer in me. But other than that, I don't really hate on stuff the way that other people do. I actually really enjoyed it. So anyway, I'm like geeking out watching Rebels because I'm just like, I saw that. Oh, that's Easter egg. Oh my goodness. So I'm almost there. Hopefully I'll start Ahsoka by like the end of this week. Hopefully. I mean, I've got like 2 more seasons to go. 2.5. But I should be good. All right. I will talk to you guys when I talk to you, and hopefully I'm not all stuffy and gross because of allergies and stuff. So, bye.